Hello and welcome back to Gnomoria. We are now on version 0.8.34. The majority of this version's update focuses on the UI, so there's not too much that's going to change for us. And a couple of bug fixes, things like fixing crashes which happened when there were no audio devices, or when trying to look at a corpse which had invalid gear on it. But one of the big things that this has done, the population screen. We no longer have a status tab. We've got an assign tab only, but this now incorporates the status so we can see what they're doing, and has all of the assignment stuff. We can resize this window if we want to, which is pretty cool, especially for a fort which has a lot of people in it. And generally, this is just a lot easier to work with. As you can see, everyone is being listed by their profession. That makes it so much easier to deal with, like you don't even know. But as the astute will have noticed, Kissil the Redshirt is now a blacksmith, a grizzled old survivor of the Night of Long Shadow. Probably make some sort of makeshift peg leg and like bionic arm that really is just like smith's tongs, but we're not really gonna say anything about it. It's awesome. It's gonna have some scars. It's gonna be generally gruff when you try to talk to him. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna add to the ambiance of the fort. But yes, so Kissil has been moved out of the military. Unfortunately, you must be retired when you hop along like you did. Really, it was ridiculous. It took you almost the entire fight to get to the fight. I'm not sure if you actually got any kills in it, I'm afraid. There's a lot of combat logs to look through for that, and it would be so easy for me to miss something in there. But someone did want to know what the killing blow was. Who got the killing blow? And that is Watery Pillow 123. They took down the two-headed ogre with a steel sword to the heart. An epic way to end an epic fight. And if we just look at the 5th day of spring, that's just staggering. The amount of combat is quite honestly intimidating. It was right that we give the day a name, or rather the night a name, though honestly the day may as well have had the name. But Day of Long Shadow just doesn't sound as intimidating as Night of Long Shadow, honestly. Now, as in the last episode, I am not going to have our military doing anything for a little while. They've earned a rest, so I'm going to give them a rest. But what I will be doing is a little tip someone gave me. I'm going to go for our crossbow gnomes, and I'm going to tell them to stop wearing armor. Any armor at all. Just take everything off. And I'm going to do the same for our militia. Well, their weapon at least, because they don't wear metal armor. And for a little while, hopefully then, our... Oh, it actually says to only wield copper. Well, we'll leave that for now. What should happen is our military will pick up the best weapons and gear for them. Now, in this episode, we're going to be focusing on digging down a little bit more. But before we do that, I'm just going to tell these guys to try and keep 10 steel breastplates around. 10 steel helmets. We've got plenty of armor plates at the end of the day, so we may as well. We want wool padding if we can. We don't have enough ogre leather straps to really do that, and I don't really want to waste ogre leather on that, so we'll try and avoid that if we can. But we do want steel everything, but these we're going to need 20 of. Because everything here, pauldron, greaves, gauntlets and boots, you wear 2. You wear a pair. So we'll just get all of that set up, and hopefully these guys will then make what they have to, because it'll chain up whatever else it needs. So if it needs extra steel bars or steel plates, it will set those to be crafted. So eventually, our Velvet Evildoers and our Fortified Seals will have full steel gear. Eventually. It'll take a while to get there, but hopefully not too long. And on that note, let's just check out what the squads look like. Fortified Seals, only 3 people. Incompetent LP, Million Fowl, and Anthrax. Anthrax the second is actually turning out to be quite a survivor. And for the Velvet Evildoers, we've got Strider, Watery Pillow, and Cerro. Now, as there are only 3 in each group, I'm not going to fill out one full squad, because that would leave one squad with only one person in it. But Following along with the fact that fortified seals tend to be our strongest combat force, or at least in terms of melee, once we get some more gnomes in the fort, I do intend to promote people from within the Velvet Evildoers into the fortified seals, and then we'll fill this out with the fresh recruits. But we'll let them get on with that for now. The fort is doing its thing. More bandages are being made, which is awesome. We've got lots of stuff being made down here. Wow. Really? Why am I making all this? I'm just making rods and gears and lots of other things all over the place. Well, I guess I do use these surprisingly, you know, a ridiculous amount of them. So go ahead and make that, I guess. But that must be generating ridiculous amounts of knock-on jobs. Yes, lots of copper bars and bronze bars and more copper bars and all sorts of things. But bolts, we'll be getting bronze for that, which is good. So hopefully we're going to be smelting down any bronze armor plates we've got, which is exactly what we need. And we're automatically melting down all the copper we've got. Good times. And there's nothing being made there. Oh, that's fine. So we'll just move on. Oh, what are you making? You're making Petrocks. Ah, yes, because I've sold them all. Fair enough. We need to keep our Petrock supply up, I guess. Now, these bodies, there's not really much to do with those. I really would like all of this armor to be moved somewhere, though. Perhaps I should make a stockpile specifically for armory stuff in here. This is armor straps, armor padding, armor plates. Oh no, Kissel, what's happened? Oh. You're having a very hard time getting around the fort. Maybe I need to make a special room for Kissel. His own little forge. And it'll just be a blacksmith workshop and a bed. And a table and a chair. And that will be his place. He will work there. Only him. It'll be awesome. Trust me. We will actually look at doing that as well. Now, it looks like the military is up and moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and tell our crossbow gnomes to equip themselves. And you know what? They can equip themselves with whatever they can get their hands on. Oh, well. No. We'll tell them to specifically wear iron. Because otherwise they might grab some of the steel. And that wouldn't be so great for us. But we do definitely still want them to be equipped in their iron armor. Because as we've seen, they just get into fights. No matter what I do, they will always get into fights. Now, the skeletal militia, let's make sure they have a hand axe. As far as that goes, you can pick up whatever you can get your hands on. If you can get your hands on an iron hand axe, then by all means. But one last thing I want to do is positions. Where are you, Sergeant and Marks Gnome? Right, don't maintain distance anymore. Ideally, they're not going to be able to get to you, so you can just shoot them from above. So we don't need that. We want them to get as close as they can. But that's it for that. We're going to go down. We're going to start on the mining. It's long overdue. Actually, we'll set guys to start training first. Otherwise, they're not going to be getting any better, and that would be a bad time. And actually, on that note, we should also mine this area out. We want to make the extra quarters for people. But with that done, we'll have... Actually, fortified seals can come down here for now. We don't intend to go out for a little while. And we can always move people up here when we do. We'll move them into the guard area over there. So for now, we'll just get them down there. Now, whilst the soldiers are moving around, we'll rebuild these doors. Doesn't matter at all what type of door it is, as long as it is a door. There we go. And it looks like our gnomes are doing well with cutting down the trees. And growing out the fields, actually. Well done. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Some people have pointed out that we need to start work on the walls, and that is something I want to do soon. But I do want to try and get some mining done first. So let's go to dig stairs down. And we'll dig a stairs down about here. Oh wow, you made short work of that. Fair enough. Let's get some plank walls in there. We'll see what types of planks we've got. Applewood it'll be. Got more of them than anything else. And, oop, that's not good. I'll fix that in just a moment. There we go. Now, have you dug that down? Excellent. Right, what we want to do is we'll do much like we did in the other stairwell. We'll have these be little areas dug out like so. With stairs going down on each side. Wow, you really do make short work of that. Well done. Actually, what we'll do is we'll bring this up. Oh, Kissel's passed out again. Do that. And then down here, we will mine the wall. Like so. And we'll just alternate this all the way down. But we do want to be sure that we're building torches in each one. Now, as I've mentioned before, one of the things we're going to be doing down here is building... Oh, we hit stone. Okay. Is building a mob spawner. Now, I've not done that in this game. I've done that plenty of times in other games like Minecraft, but not so much in this one. So I don't really know what's required to do that. But we're going to be winging this, playing it by ear. I think we need to be at least 9 deep for us to meet any sort of enemies worth fighting. Though even that is debatable at 9 deep. Ooh, what's this? More gems? I think so. Damn it, I can't tell. Don't tell me. Oh well, we'll just wait for him to get down there. Hopefully these torches are set up pretty quickly. Ooh, what have we got? More sapphires. Not too bad. We'll be excavating this out then. And it looks like we will be setting up a jeweler at some point. Let's replace this wall with just stone. Any raw stone, raw granite will do. No, can't replace wall. Will not allow me to replace wall. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, fine, mine it. And mine that. And mine this. And once we've got these out of the way, we'll place another stone wall there and place a torch down. Wow, these take a long time for them to dig through, though. Takes an obnoxiously long time compared to the other stuff. Now, if there's no vein behind this, then we'll just leave this room. Oh no, there we are. And saving. Well, that was an unexpected detour. For you, nothing much has changed. For me, it is now several hours since we last had an autosave. Several long, tiresome hours spent debugging the game. Even delving into some of its code, or at least the backtrace, so I could work out what on earth was causing me to crash every single time. But we have finally worked out what it was. I thought it was perhaps a bugged gnome, but it's not. Let me recount the tale. Shortly after that save, I did other things. Eventually, a goblin invasion came along, and I think I've worked out the music now from having to replay that part of the game over and over again. Thankfully, in Gnomoria, when the game crashes, it doesn't save anything. It doesn't save frequently. It just does it at the autosaves or when I expressly save, so I kept going back to the last save point. Now, the crash was happening when I would tell the Silvery Lurkers of Battle to come up here and fight, but not all the time, and this is what threw me off. 1 out of 3 bronze crossbows we had was bugged. Didn't know why, I thought it might have been a bug introduced in the latest patch. It probably is. But I thought it might have been with the gnomes themselves, with the attacks of ranged gnomes. But no. Turns out that a specific bronze crossbow, out of all the other bronze crossbows, didn't have all of the variables. I'm not going to bore you too much, don't worry. Didn't have all the variables assigned to it, so it was throwing up various errors, basically divide by 0, that sort of thing. Yes, took me a while to work out. Now, I've reverted back to the save, as you've seen just now. To avoid this happening, we have to do a few things. Firstly, make sure no one's patrolling. Good, good. Next, we need to go into our squad of the Silvery Lurkers, and I'm really sorry about this, guys, but you must all, well, actually, no, we'll keep you here, but I'm just going to tell you to unequip your... No. We are actually going to have to set this as vacant and set you all up as militia, temporarily. Now, the reason we need to do this is, in my testing, I found that simply removing them from the squad will cause them to drop their armor, but will not cause them to unequip their weapon, which is quite a pain in the bum, let me tell you. So we're going to come down here, the new Spikes of River. And this is going to be our temporary holding squad for Toz, Ornstein, Snowdog, and Akandar. I've just got to find you all now. Unfortunately, this particular part of the interface hasn't been updated to show everyone based on their profession, so there's Snowdog, and Akandar is at the bottom of the list somewhere. There we go. Right, now what should happen here is they are going to unequip everything, go and grab an axe, and grab some skulls and bone breastplates. Now, the really, really big thing that we need to do, and this is the only way that I have found, and I have tested a lot to try and work this out. The only way I found to avoid this happening is to smelt all of the crossbows. We don't necessarily need to smelt the copper ones, but, well, you know, if you're going to smelt a crossbow, you may as well smelt them all. So, we're going to throw that in, and we're going to move this all the way up to there. And we're just going to keep doing this for all 5. You don't care in what order they grab them. They may as well just go for it. Now, in my test game, I played for a little while once I actually found out that it was definitely the bronze crossbow, though I couldn't pick out which one, unfortunately. Otherwise, I could be a little bit more specific with this. I couldn't work out a way to figure out which gnome it was holding that particular bronze crossbow. But what we will do is we're going to smelt down all of the bronze crossbows, and since we're here anyway, we may as well upgrade their crossbows. Now, in my test game, I made steel crossbows. That may be a little bit, well, a little bit over the top, really. We've got plenty of iron, though, so we could go ahead and set up some iron crossbows to be made. And I don't think this would necessarily be a bad thing. I don't think we need to worry about making it out of steel, though, simply because if we do that, then when it comes time for us to have our muskets and things like that, we're going to have wasted a lot of steel on crossbows. So, well, actually, thinking about that, we do get it back if we smelt it. And we could always do that. I am thinking. Well, we could do this. I'm going to leave you guys to craft what you need. However, one thing I'm going to do is, in the machine shop, we really don't need all of these things made all the time. It's good enough that they get made when there's copper available. So we're going to take the craft ingredients off on these ones, so that they will stop crafting these whenever they see it. The bolts, yeah, they can go ahead and craft more bronze bolts, more bronze for the bolts whenever they want, because we definitely want to keep a stock of that. And the armorer can go ahead and craft more steel as needed. But what we would like here then is steel bars. We're going to need a fair old bit of this. It's 3 per crossbows, so we're going to need 15. Actually, having said that, it'll just keep getting used to make steel plate. So actually, let's get rid of that. We'll just move this up. I would like steel bars made. Wait a minute, that's needed for what? Oh, needs coal. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't expand this out, so we can't get this part of the screen wider so we can see exactly what it's saying there. But that shouldn't be too bad. Now, whilst they're doing that, I did a few other things in the many attempts to get this working. One of them was to simply set this up, and I may as well do that now. Place wall, we'll go with regular block wall. And just for now, just get all of that replaced. So that will at least look nice. Another thing I did, and this has been bugging me for an age, is we're going to deconstruct that, put a pillar in there, and put the torch on top so it'll light this level up as well. And hopefully we'll stop having that craziness going on. Now, with terrain, we want to remove this ramp. Yeah, I noticed a lot of stuff that I could do while I was trying to fix this. So I'm going to get all of that done now. Another thing we're going to do is get these rail fences done. And there. All of those. Now this might slow down the production of the crossbows just a tiny bit, but it's not too much of an issue right now. We're also going to remove this designation. We don't need that there right now. I think that's alright for now. Oh, the other thing we want is we probably need to get rid of these. I've not been able to work out if these can actually be stored inside crates or not. It's really confusing. But the fact that there's loads of bronze down there that isn't being brought up gives me the impression that you can't store bolts in a crate, which is a shame. Now then, this is done. We will get back to digging shortly, fear not. But with this done, we're just going to quickly throw up some walls and set the floors ready to be made. So we want apple wood. There we go. Now then, let's have a look. I think everything else is being produced okay. Let's see. Yeah, everything else is moving smoothly. Now, with this area down here, as we are starting to encounter sapphires, I think it is time that we actually look at building a jewelry area. A jeweler's workshop. Let's just use a dirt clump on here. Pad out that wall there. We'll wait until we've got a torch being built to finish doing this area. The torch will take a little while yet, so may as well set that one up to be made, because that'll get built a lot faster. Now, we have reserved an area for this, for the jewelers, and that's up here. So let's go ahead and build that. Again, we can just throw the workshop up without worrying about the requisite items, and the gnomes will deal with that themselves. But we can specify certain things. I don't really mind what it's made of, though. Interestingly, though, you can actually use stone chairs, and it will change it a great deal. It'll really change the look. Stone chairs and stone table, if you want. I recommend people play around with that, because it's actually pretty cool. I may... well, actually, okay, I'll make one. The chair is unique. As you can see here, these are applewood workbenches and stone chairs and etc. All that. These are birch tables. This is a pine table. Now, if these were stone tables, they would literally be stone tables. They would look very different. We're going to make a couple of those now. So let's get one chair. Any block will do. And... well, we're not going to need a table, I guess, but we'll make one anyway. For the future. Now, we're going to need a couple more torches yet. Got one birch training dummy there. How about you give me another training dummy, but make this one an applewood training dummy. I would be in your debt. Now, what's the machine shop doing? It's making bronze bolts, and that's fine. What I would like it to do, though, is make crossbow bows. And we'll go ahead and we'll make them steel ones. Why not, I suppose. So, stick that in there. We need at least one steel crossbow bow before we can do anything else. Because if we go here and have a look at making a crossbow, the only types of bows it knows of are bronze or any. So we need to have made one steel one first, and at that point, it'll remember that for future constructions. Even if I haven't got one available, I'll still be able to tell it I want a steel one, and it'll queue it up. Which, I guess, is a way of preventing... Well, I'm not really sure, but I guess it's some sort of progression measure. It prevents you from just throwing up steel everywhere and having it all done automatically, but I'm not really sure it's that useful, if I'm perfectly honest. Now then, let's get some stockpiles down here, because we definitely want a couple of things. We want forge, copper, ore. We're not going to have overflows for this. We just want these specific ores available to it. And likewise, we want forge, tin, ore. The rest will be used whenever. You can just draw the ore over here, but these will be used often, so we may as well actually make specific stockpiles for it so that they store them up. Plus it gets rid of a couple more of our crates. Now we could also store copper and tin bars here, since this does get used to make the bronze, or at some point perhaps we could even make a metal stockpile. I've been thinking about that. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. The only thing this is storing is furniture right now. We could perhaps have some very specific stockpiles here just for the metals. I'll consider that in between this episode and the next. I'll do that off screen perhaps. Now, have you started on this yet? No? It needs more bars over at the forge. I would prefer this to be made first. There we go. Now then, have you placed the torch? Yes, you have. Okay. Well, before we go... Ooh. Oh, wow. You've spotted them all. All at the same time. That's kind of... must have terrified you. Wow. That is nonsense. Look how many two-headed ogres there are. That is just bonkers. Absolute bonkers insane. There's only one guy in steel, though. That's kind of interesting. Well, there are two. There might only be one. Now, hopefully, they will kill any mants that are around. But yes, did you hear that? Well, I'm not really sure how to describe the tune, but it was a little bit ominous. That signified that the goblins were on the prowl. It's been a very long time, and loads of people have told me what to listen out for, but I've been quite slow in picking that up. But thanks to having heard that play over and over again as these goblins appeared, I have now got it down. Right. Let's have a look. Now what I would like to do up here is put together a little training workshop, another military training grounds using the applewood training dummies, and this can be for the silvery lurkers when they're not doing anything else. So we'll have the silvery lurkers hanging out here. We can just have them train their brawling if we want, or at times when there's nothing around we could have them just practicing their archery there as well. And it looks that now these crates are out of the way, they're actually going to store bolts there. That's fantastic. I'm actually very happy with that. Yeah, it looks like bronze bolts are being carted over. It looks like a clump of mud, but it is not, I assure you. Here we are, bronze bolt pile. It's a bit inconvenient. You can only store 16 of those at a time, though. Now that has been built, so let's go ahead and build the train we want. What was it? Engraved wall. But now that we've got what we want down here, and with the goblins at our gates, I think we're running close to 30 minutes. It's a bit hard for me to tell. I think the last cut before we had the crash up to the autosave was about 13 minutes, and we're at about 17 minutes now. So I'll wrap this episode up, and then we are going to continue down. So finally, I know we got a bit distracted there by the bug, but now that that is all sorted out, we can more or less just focus on mining down. I'm going to mine out this vein of sapphire, and if we hit any metals, I'll mine that out as well. But we're going to keep on our way down. As I've mentioned before, we're going to be trying to make a mob grinder down here, so we're going to need to be about this level in order to start doing that. And between this episode and the next, I'll do a few things off camera, just get a few things set up, perhaps the other workshop there and the stockpiles. And I will also look up the specifics of making a mob grinder. And when I return, hopefully we will know what to do. But that's it for this episode. Bugs not included. I hope you've enjoyed it. I wish I could say I have, but many hours are spent crushing that particular bug. But I'm not going to let that sour the experience too much. I will see you in the next episode, I hope. But until then, do take care.